And I face more discrimination from my editors in New York about being a woman going into war zones than I do working primarily within the Muslim world when I'm in the field. And that is a curiosity to me. I have no answers to that, but
What sort of discrimination?
Well, I mean, people frequently ask, you work in the Muslim world as a woman, isn't that especially dangerous? Here's the secret. It's easier to be a woman for a couple of reasons. First of all, most violence is random. And, I dress however women dress in the place that I'm in. And so I'll wear a veil, I'll wear a burqa, I'll wear whatever is called for to be respectful. So most violence is people coming up to the car, armed, they see a woman, you can get away within 30 seconds, and that's really all you need. And when a senior mucky-muck in the Muslim Brotherhood is talking to a journalist, they're talking to the New York Times, they're talking to the New Yorker, they're not talking to a woman or man. And what kind of discrimination do I face in New York? I face two things. First of all, there's the economic reality. I just said this last week. Last week, really the best woman war correspondent in the world was killed, Mary Colvin, eye patch, shot while being with the Tamil Tigers, and just an incredible woman. And so male and women too. Okay, so economically, if you send a woman, in her 20s and 30s into a war zone as a magazine journalist, you've got to think, I'm training this woman who's probably going to leave the field 15 years earlier than her male counterpart. Because if she wants to have a baby, she's out of there. I mean, that's definitely true in frontline reporting. Now, does that justify the fact that I have editors all the time say, we were so worried about you? I wore a GPS tracker for the first time a couple of weeks ago. This is the latest thing for war correspondents. They track you and I realized I went to meet the security guy, Smudge, who was, I was with a male photographer, and I was like, oh, we're fine. And I realized that Smudge was deferring to the male photographer in order to know we were safe, and that was okay. I mean, did I need to argue? I just took my tracker and left. But the levels of sexism within war correspondents really happen within the media conglomerates rather than in the field.
Okay. I want to pick up on something, Naomi, that you raised as the centerpiece of your presentation earlier today, which was the whole idea of redefining the approach to feminism that you outlined, and we don't want to go into all the detail of that presentation, but you talked about the need to redefine our approach to feminism in terms of an enlightenment that was based more around universal values than around women's values. Can you just kind of, that they were the same thing in a sense. Can you just outline what you meant by that for people who might not have heard?
Sure, and I wish I had put it as eloquently as you just did, so thank you. Sure, so very briefly, what I said earlier today, which I'm pretty excited about, the way that, when you have a new idea that sort of seems to have some legs, you get excited, is that Western feminism has three intellectual antecedents that are not that helpful. Very briefly, one of them is Victorian feminism, which stressed a kind of victim posture and a kind of angel in the house mentality. The other is Marxism, which is great for labor organizing, but not so good for engagement with advanced democratic capitalism. And the third is existentialism, which post-war, World War II existentialism, which